What's up, guys? Today I'm about to run over to the store and grab a few more things that I need for random projects. I've got this little windowsill thing getting set up. This is kind of accidentally turning into a Wabi kusa kind of thing. It's actually just resting there while I get the stuff that I need for this guy. I actually bought a big thing of like potting mix. You know, when you buy a giant bag of dirt, you don't anticipate you're going to use it all, but I literally used all of it. So, and I only had it for a couple months, which is weird. So I'm going to run to the store, grab some more hydrogen peroxide. I'm going to be messing with hydrogen peroxide dosing on hair algae and seeing if I can kill that. But that'll just be in separated tanks. I won't be messing with that in the 20-gallon long. Speaking of which, the wood has been pulled out because it was covered in hair algae, and the Ludwigia is trimmed, as is the sword that was in there. But yeah, so this video is going to be mostly about these little guys. I have a few, and I plan on setting up a lot more. Just little nano tanks, tanks. They're just little self-sustaining things with plants in them. I love plants. I actually got this little guy set up the other day. It's a bunch of random plants, and plants from very different regions, and they're all like thriving, kind of thriving. Some of them are actually dying off, but I'll have to change some stuff around for that, and that's really cool. So yeah, that's what I'm doing today. I'm gonna go grab some new dirt and then get back to you. Alright guys, so something messed up with my filming the other day, so I'm refilming some stuff. When I got back from the store the other day, I don't have the dirt with me right now, but I bought some new dirt, and I bought this bucket and this special lid. If you know what that is, then you know exactly what I'm doing with this. That's going to be for this tank later on. I've been messing around with that, trying to balance CO2 and improve the setup I have for it. But that will be coming back much better soon. And the dirt I got, I already, obviously I've set the things up already. Oops. And so yeah, this is where we're headed. In the rest of the video I'll be showing you how I did this. But anyways, the dirt I got was a Scott's topsoil kind of thing. It's that's kind of what it looks like, not that you can see that very well. But I used it for this one, and I believe I used it for this one, and I used it in the top layer of this. It's an organic substrate. Topsoil tends to look better than planting mix, because planting mix usually has like perlite and mulch and stuff in there. But yeah, so with a terrestrial thing like this, like a Wabi kusa or just a little terrarium, you don't need to worry about organic stuff as much. The organic stuff comes into play when you have like nitrogen cycle being balanced in an aquarium. In this situation, it would probably help, but I didn't need it, so I just kind of went with the dirt that I had that I'm going to be using for aquariums. But yeah, so I set these two up in the video. These were already going, and this, like I said, is already just experimental stuff. So I'll probably eventually be setting up a little Wabi kusa in here. And now I'll show you how I did these two. So these are the two guys right here that I'm going to be doing today. Don't worry about the wood, that's just sitting there. I need to find a place for it. And that is not going to be staying like that either. I'm just trying to get this moss to grow out. And I might try some hydrogen peroxide dosing on it and see what happens. But yeah, so like I said, the focus of today's video is going to be little stuff like this. Just micro stuff that's self-sustaining, basically. I've done better ones in the past. This tank over here, the light's just cut off, but I'll cut them back on just for the sake of the video. This tank used to be fully self-sustaining. Every time I've set it up, I've never run a filter on it. The filter idea is pretty new. I had the filter sitting around. Just I think it's a Zoom Ed 501 little turtle canister filter. But yeah, so stuff like this that can just kind of go on its own. I will be adding some snails, probably ram's horn to this tank, and maybe some shrimp. It's a 2-gallon, and there's a lot of stuff in there, so it's probably closer to 1.8 or 1.7 gallons. So you can't keep a lot of stuff in these things, but you can keep, you know, ram's horn, snails, Malaysian trumpet snails, maybe red cherry shrimp or stuff like that. So for this one, it's going to be terrestrial stuff, or terrestrial, yeah, whatever. And this is the stuff that I'm kind of excited about putting inside of it. All of this is stuff that I found out in the river in my previous video, and it's going to be used for this. I got more dirt so I can layer this back the way I want it. I was going to keep this thing vertical and then take this tank and kind of put it on like a corner of, like put a corner of it in there, so there would be little cutouts basically where plants could grow out, and then this one would be resting in there with maybe some like succulents in it or something. But I decided against it. I had this piece of cereus stone sitting around, and I've always had trouble finding a good use for it in a tank because it's a broken piece, and both sides have this kind of like crystalline structure looking stuff, and it just doesn't look good in the tank. So I found a use for that, and I really like this. I've heard good things about it from other people too, so I went with this. And what I'm going to be basically doing is kind of planting it. I'm going to add some dirt in here and probably place this fern somewhere along the back, and then have mosses and stuff along the front. So I'll add some more dirt and show you where it is. So I've added the Scott's dirt. It's a little topsoil. It's all organic, so it should be good in here. I keep forgetting that I don't necessarily need organic, non-fertilized stuff for terrestrial uses. But yeah, I'll do a substrate video and dirted and all that kind of stuff later on down the road. But so I got this. It's all organic. I'm used to buying organic stuff. And I have this piece of wood and it floats. So I tried to sink it in there for a while. It just didn't happen. So I got kind of bored, and I'm gonna throw it in here. The idea is kind of I'm just kind of moving around a little bit. But the idea is kind of mosses probably down here, and then ferns and stuff, and more mosses up there. And I'll probably get something growing on this wood, and then I'll just mist it every once in a while and kind of let it get all moist in there or whatever, and just kind of see what happens. I've never done anything small like this. I've done big stuff like that, and then they've always turned out fairly well, but we'll see. So I'll add some plants and mosses and stuff and see how it looks. So here is what I have so far. Super simple. Just some stone, this piece of wood here, and I had all these little club mosses and tiny plants and the little clumps, and I just sat those down. Hopefully as everything matures, I've got that. I still can't figure out. I think it might be a rabbit's foot fern, but they get pretty dense in the right conditions. I saw one today at Lowe's when I grabbed the dirt. I think it's this, and it looked really good. So hopefully that'll send out a bunch of leaves and get really dense back there. But yeah, just this little moss down here, and obviously it's not filled in the whole area. I'm thinking I might want to plant something here that'll kind of grow out and drape over the side. I think that'd be pretty cool. Maybe grow along the wood or something like that. And I'm not sure what I want to do with the wood. I might just leave it as it is right now and slowly let the plants kind of come over and grow on top of it and kind of overtake it like they would in nature. But yeah, so all this is dirt, wood, stone, and some mosses and stuff that I found. This literally, I didn't even really replant the fern, or I kind of did, but I mainly just set that little clump down on top of it. And yeah, it doesn't take much to make something super simple like this. Next one I'll be doing is this little guy, and I haven't decided what I want to do with it yet. I was thinking, actually no, I can't do that, because this one will be a lot of river stones and sand and pea gravel that like in between the river stones and sand to make it kind of blend, and then a big sword growing immersed and some other things. But I need to figure out a stem plant to go in here and maybe a lower level plant to grow in here because it's tall. It's taller than these two, so I need to occupy that space. Alright, well I think I've decided what I want to do with this one. I can't do a Crits Balance just because it's not tall enough. They'll get way too big and start to curl over and act all weird. It would be cool if they would come out of the surface, but that's just not going to happen. So what I do have is a plant that I don't typically like to keep. Water Sprite. So I think what I'm gonna do is this one's gonna get capped with sand just to make it look a little bit nicer than the gravel one over there. So what I'm gonna do is put a sword in there. Not sure which sword, possibly the one in here or one of the ones in here. And then the water wisteria basically right behind that or kind of on top of it. And the dirt in the bottom of this, I'm going to do dirt 50-50, dirt and sand. The dirt in the bottom will feed the sword basically, and then the water sprite will be fed by whatever kind of snails or shrimp that I put in there. So I'll add some dirt and sand and then add some water and show you guys what's going on. Alright, so I got that water sprite in there after a couple failed attempts. And I realized that there's no way I'm going to be able to plant a sword down there. The tweezers are just too short that I have. And they're good tweezers. I mean, I've got Aqua Vitro stuff. And I have big hands. So, I mean, they're big tweezers. They're nice tweezers. And I couldn't reach. I could barely reach down there. I had to grab up on the stem. I kind of choke up on it and stuff it down there. And then kind of try to push the gravel over it with the tips of my fingers holding the thing. But I'm actually kind of liking how the water sprite alone looks in there. I'm not usually a fan of this plant, but in here it looks cool, and hopefully it'll grow out of the surface and stuff like that. But yeah, so that's the basics on how to do these things. Super simple. You can get really creative with it. You can use your imagination however you want to do these things. It's all up to you. Not much goes into it. So yeah. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you liked what I'm doing, and give me some suggestions for stuff to do. Like I said, I'm going to be building something with that later on down the road. I'll probably do a video on this tank again. I've got this thing coming up. I've got two ponds coming up, 275-gallon tote bins. So if you're excited about all that stuff, like and subscribe and all that stuff. So hopefully, see you next time.